a friend from work and I were having a few drinks over New Year back in 2000 into 2001, and Alison said, I'm going to do the Great North Run this year. Actually, Margo, you could do the race too. And I said, of course I can, of course I can. Sobered up the next morning, I think I said I'm going to do the Great North Run this year. So I found myself a club that I could train at, and eventually I managed to get myself a racing wheelchair, and I set off to train for the Great North Run. So I did a couple of races before that, a 10k, and I did the Great Scottish Run. So the following year I'd got the bug, and I thought, 2002, I'm going to do the Great North Run again. And there I was, warming up on the dual carriageway at the start of Great North Run, looked across the road, thought, that's Gordon Ramsay. I'll pop over and say hello to him. So we had a chat, and he asked why I was doing the Great North Run, told him about the charity, and he said, oh, that's great. Is there anything I can do to help? I said, oh, well, I'll keep that in mind. It was a couple of years later, we were at a board meeting, and we really need to raise money for this new family centre that we've got in mind. What we could do is with a famous Scottish Honorary Patron. So I piped up that I knew Gordon Ramsay, which was a bit of an exaggeration actually, and they said, oh, that would be great, that'd be great. Took the chance, and I wrote to Gordon, and by return post he wrote back and said he'd be delighted to get involved, and that's how he became our Honorary Patron of the charity. At the time, we worked out of 2 rented offices, one in Glasgow and one in Edinburgh, and what we really needed is one centre in central Scotland that all our families could get to. So it was a big task that we had in hand, and it was something like 750,000 that we were trying to raise to build this centre. So it was going to be a challenge, but when Gordon came on board, he came up and he launched our Buy a Brick appeal, and within a very short time we had raised that 750,000 that we needed to build the centre, and in 2006 he was back opening it for us. It was fantastic. He brought Hannah and Megan, his oldest daughter, with him, and of course they kind of fell in love with the children, and then they were back several years, and then Gordon's mum and his sisters came to one of our ladies' lunches, so the whole family have been involved. So then we came up with the idea of a gala dinner, and we had several of these gala dinners, glamorous affairs. What's your favourite F word appeal for us has been fundraising, of course, and we use that with we have a ladies' lunch every year, so it was the F word lunch, and again we raised more money that way as well. 2008, when he had been up visiting us, I realised that the 2009 London Marathon was going to fall on my 50th birthday, and he said again, why don't you do the London Marathon? And I thought, if I was ever going to do it, that's the date to do it. Like most charities, when COVID hit, we had to close down the centre, and our families couldn't get that support that we needed to give them. We did get by doing online kind of contact with them and such like, but of course our fundraising fell away completely, and people just weren't wanting to go to events anymore because of the risk of COVID. But Gordon was there all the time, and he supported us. Quietly in the background, he was supporting us while COVID was going on, which was fantastic of him. When Gordon first opened his first restaurant in Edinburgh, we were the charity chosen in Scotland to receive the benefits of the Great Donate appeal, and then of course he opened his second restaurant in Edinburgh, and we got the benefit of that as well with the Great Donate appeal. That's been for the past 2 years. I think if we didn't have Gordon on board, we may actually have failed and not been able to keep going as a charity. It's been his name associated with the charity that has kept us going and made us bigger and better than we could ever have dreamed of being. We can make a lasting impact that's going to change lives forever.